In this video, we'll work on a sample answer for this IELTS Writing Task 1 academic question, focusing on planning and vocabulary. This particular question is what we call a combination question. It has two different types of charts. In this case, a pie chart and a bar graph. These types of questions are also known as mixed charts or multi-graph questions. Whenever I'm working on any graph, chart, or table, I follow a step-by-step method to analyze and plan what to write. In this question, however, I will not need some of these steps. I will not need to group the data because there is not too much data individually in the pie chart and the bar graph. The trends are also not required because we write about trends when we see how things have changed over a few years. Here we'll certainly be writing about the comparison between the two age groups. Let's now plan what we are going to write before we start the actual writing. First, we try to understand each of the two charts separately. Let's start with the pie chart. There are only 4 segments here, and very clearly the highest is private studios. At 48%, we can write that almost half of the dance classes take place at private studios. The lowest is college-based studios. After the highest and the lowest, we are left with just 2, which we can mention together. Moving on to the bar graph. First, we look for highest for both the categories. For under 11, the highest is clearly ballet. For 11 to 16, the highest is modern dance. For lowest, we have the reverse. For under 11, the lowest is modern dance, which is almost half of the number of students that ballet has. And for 11 to 16 age group, ballet is the least popular or the dance with the lowest number of students. Tap dance for both the cases is almost the same, around 400 or 450. Another thing we can note here is that total number of students for 11 to 16 age group are lower, and that is especially noteworthy in ballet where it's almost half. This is 600, this is 300. Based on this planning of each of the two, we can figure out what to write in the overall statement. From the pie chart, the most important thing that stands out is 48%, which is private studios. For bar graph, we could just mention in the overall statement which is the most popular dance form, or we can mention both the highest and the lowest categories. It is also important in combination questions that you see if there is a connection between the two charts that are given. In this case, there is no connection, so we don't need to mention it. An example of the kind of question where there could be a connection is here on your screen. If we had this pie chart and this bar graph, we could mention a connection between the two. We could say that tap dance, which is not very popular in either of the two age groups, gets the lowest percentage of funds as well. Coming back to our question now, let's look at some vocabulary which can help us write about pie charts. For pie charts, we need percentage related vocabulary. So phrases like large proportion, the majority of, a significant portion can help us write about percentages. For bar graphs, we usually need vocabulary related to trends. But as we already mentioned, the bar graph we are working on does not have different years mentioned. So the trend over the years is something that we do not need to work on. The vocabulary for highest and lowest numbers we'll certainly need. What we can really use here is different ways of saying that something is popular or sought after or preferred. Many different ways of writing this are on your screen. Here are a few other ways in which we can compare the preferences of the different age groups that we have. Both the charts that we have describe current attendance in dance classes. You should primarily use the present simple tense, also known as the present indefinite tense. And we can use both active and passive voice to add variety to our sentence structures. Let's now look at the writing format that we'll follow. If we have a single graph or chart question, the format we follow is paraphrase the question, write the overall statement, and then write details and comparisons in the body paragraphs. We need to change this format a little for combination questions. We start with paraphrasing of the question. In the overall statement, we write overall of both the charts that we have. And if there is a connection between the two charts, we can mention that in the overall statement as well. In the body paragraphs, we have one body paragraph for the first chart, a separate body paragraph for the second chart, and if there is a connection between the two charts, we mention that as well. So let's start with paraphrasing of the question. I'll show you a few different ways in which you can paraphrase the question. In this example of paraphrasing, I've used some synonyms. I've replaced gives information on with illustrate details about, currently attending with attended, etc. Here are two other examples of paraphrasing the question. In both the cases, I've used the information from the question about different age groups and added that information in the paraphrasing of the question. And in this paraphrasing example, I have used passive voice. So I've written, the data presented in the charts reveal insights into the venues and types of dance classes attended by young individuals in a specific Australian town. So these are a few different ways of paraphrasing that we have seen. Choose whichever approach you are most comfortable with. Next, we have to write the overall statement. This is the planning that we have. So let's start. Here are 4 different examples of overall statements. What is common among all of them is that it is clearly mentioned that private studios is the location where majority of dance classes are held. Along with that, there is a mention of which dance form is most popular among the two age groups. In the third example, we have also mentioned which is the least preferred choice. And in the fourth example, tap dance being moderately popular is also mentioned. Let's read one of the examples. Overall, nearly half of the dance classes are held in private studios, and there is a clear contrast in dance style preferences between the two age groups. Ballet, the dominant choice for younger students, is the least preferred choice for the older ones, whereas the opposite is true for modern dance. Once we are done with this, we start with the body paragraphs. In the first body paragraph, we write the details about the pie chart. Nearly half of all the dance classes, 48%, are conducted in private studios, making them the most common location. The next most common venue is school halls, which account for 24% of the classes, followed by community halls, which make up 18%. In contrast, college-based studios are the least utilized, representing only 10% of the total locations. Now we start with the next body paragraph, in which we'll write about the bar graph. We could write about the data in bar graph by mentioning one dance form after another, Or we could write it by mentioning one age group after another. I'll be writing about one age group first and then the second age group. For children under 11, ballet is the most popular dance class with nearly 600 students participating. Tap dance follows closely behind, attracting approximately 450 students in this age group. However, modern dance is the least popular for this group with just around 300 students, which is half the number enrolled in ballet. For 11 to 16 age group, the trend reverses, with modern dance becoming the most popular, attracting around 500 students. Tap dance remains relatively popular with approximately 400 students, while ballet drops significantly to around 100 students, making it the least popular for this group. Notably, the total number of students in the 11 to 16 age group is lower compared to the younger group, especially for ballet. With this, we are done with this sample writing. If you found this video helpful, do like and share this video and subscribe to our channel. That's it for now. All the very best.